Hi, this is Zachary Lind, Instructional Technology Integration Specialist working for the CNY RIC at Ithaca City School District. Today I want to show you a great video tool for assigning videos to students and receiving quick, responsive feedback that shows how the students are doing in terms of understanding the content. When I used to teach social studies, I would have my students watch documentary videos or video clips, and I often wanted to see how they were doing. So I'd create a big worksheet and I would make 50, 100 copies, hand them out to students, get them back, look at them, see how they're doing, calculate their responses, see what they said, and then figure out how they were doing overall. The tool I'm going to show you today solves a lot of those logistical problems and streamlines this process quite nicely. So what you would do is go to Zaption, Z-A-P-T-I-O-N. Click on Zaption. When you first get there, I'll log out so you can see the same process. You're going to get a screen that looks like this. Click on Login, sign in with Google. You could also sign in with Edmodo if you're using that with your students. If you're an ICSD teacher, I have an ICSD account. Use that. If you don't know how to use your ICSD account with Google, please let us know. We'll walk you through and tell you what has to be done. Here's how this works. You access a video that is online. If you've created your own videos and posted them online, you can do that, or you can look at videos that are already out there. So what I did is I went and I looked up YouTube, and let's go to TED Talks. This is TED Ed. There's a good one about commas, the comma debate. So if I was teaching about commas, this is what you have. So all you have to do is just find the URL, which is right up here. Copy it, right click, copy. And here's what you would do. I've started creating it before. I'm going to delete the old one and start from scratch. So I would create a new tour. Here's what you get. You can either browse your videos or you can just enter in the URL, which is what I had earlier. Click search and it pulls up the video from YouTube. Add this into your video tour, and it's loaded right in there. So at this point, all you've done is uploaded a video into this system. There's nothing special here, but here's where it can get a little bit nicer if you're the student or the teacher. You have 6 functions within this system, at least you do under the free version. Text slide, image slide, drawing, open response, multiple choice, or check boxes. Several of these are more helpful than others. Text slide is the first one I'm going to show you. All you have to do with any of these is either drop them over the video or off to the side. This gives the option of when a student views it, where they'll see it. So for text slide, I could type in something like this to start the video. Hi students, please watch this video and respond at the proper points. Something like that. And then what I could do is decide how long I want this little note to run for. So maybe I want it to run for the first 5 seconds, and I want it to just play right next to the video. And so now, when the video is going along, this will pop up alongside it. So that's how that works. The other thing you could use is you could tell students what you want them to think about. You could add in a text slide like this. It could go over it, and you could say, think about the importance of punctuation while you watch this video. And that too will go over it. Maybe I want them to stop. So it'll pause the video, it'll show the element, and then they have to actually click on the video when you hit wait for user to click play for it to continue. You could also choose what the background is going to look like. In this case, let's say I only want the text to show. I would do it like that. And so there, to start the video, your students are going to actually have this response over on the right, and then it's going to stop, and that's going to pop up until they click on the video again. Nice little feature. You can also add images. If you had something that you had created or you had a picture that you wanted to put in next to that video, you could do that. For purposes of this video, I don't see a way that would fit that well, so we're going to skip that. The other thing you can do is add a drawing. You could just draw a little diagram. Could show what a comma looks like. It only lets you draw in yellow, at least in this mode. You can write a note. Hi, students. Or you could use this to highlight something on the video itself if you wanted. Look at this section, get them to think about that. If you don't like what you've created, you simply click clear. If you don't like it at all and you want to get rid of it, get rid of that element. Alright, so those are the editing features. Let me show you these other 3 features, and these ones are the ones that are going to be the most helpful. Here is something called the open response. Open response is an opportunity for students to type in several sentences, or longer than that, maybe 4 or 5 sentences about what they're thinking about in relation to the video. So as a teacher, I could pose a question. What is the purpose of a comma in our writing system? And I could ask my students to answer in 2 to 3 sentences. And students, when they're watching it, would have I would check the option. I'd say pause on video, so it'll pause, it'll be on the side, and they're going to have to respond to that and submit it before they can go on. They can actually skip it, and I'll show you what that looks like later. You'll get a response or a notification in the analytics that that's been skipped. Alright, the other helpful feature is something called the multiple choice. That's right up here. So for sake of this tutorial, I'll drop it in here. What are commas used for? For fun. To show problems in sentences. To structure a sentence. All of the above. So as you can see, in, I don't know, 20 seconds, I've created a question, added 4 responses. Let's say I want to say the proper answer is structure a sentence. I click correct. If I want to type an explanation, I could click that or type that in there. Or if I wanted to, for any of the other questions, to explain why it's incorrect, I could type it in there, and then I'm done. So I hit done. And now if my students are watching it, and they're going through, they're watching their video, and then all of a sudden, what are commas used for? They have to submit a response. So the last thing you can add is a check boxes feature. I haven't used this, but I'm sure there's a lot of ways that teachers could incorporate it, but basically it allows you to add in a list of items, and then they have to perhaps check the right or appropriate responses. So once you're done, you click publish. Give a title to your video, comma, tutorial for Zaption, Mr. Lind, and click publish. Now what you can do is you can either take the link here, it's right there, copy it, which is just by hitting that button. There it is right there. And you could paste that into a website, or you could send it in an email, or you could, even simpler, click share. And here we could type in the email addresses of our students, and you could then type in a message. It's pretty simple and intuitive. So once you've assigned the video, you're going to get a option to look at what's called analytics. Because I haven't assigned this to anyone, no one's looked at it, I'll show you a different one. I created this one earlier, and in my case only one person looked at it because that was me. I assigned it to myself. But what you can see is you've assigned this. Let's say I have a class of 30 students and I have assigned it and it says 1 unique viewer. That's a good indication that people haven't looked at it yet. I can look at the viewers, the average time they viewed, what questions they completed, what their scores were on the questions, and how many times they skipped, which is that portion I was talking about earlier. We could also look at the responses, how many just overall responses have been submitted, and viewers. We can actually see the names of who's viewed. So this would be great if your students are all using Google accounts linked to their name. You could have your whole class. You could see what their score was, what their responses were, when they submitted, and how long they watched it. So you get a really good idea of how your students are doing and how they did on the multiple choice questions. If you looked on the responses here, their answers that are written out in sentences would come through the word cloud. So in the end, you would have a video with all your questions put into it, and then you could review how students did. This is also nice because if students missed a lesson or they were not in class, they'd have the option of looking at the video outside of class and responding to it. This also is a great option for classrooms that have where everyone has a device. You can assign this on an iPad. You could assign this in a lot of different ways, and your students could look at it in groups, look at it by themselves, look at it away from school. It's a great way to do a small flip in your classroom. So that's the basics of Zaption. If you're interested in learning more about how to use this tool or tools like this, please contact us at the Instructional Technology Department. It's under the Technology Department on the Ithaca City School District website right here. Scroll all the way down under Technology, and then all you have to do is click on the Instructional Technology Department, and you can find all our information and more videos just like this. Thanks.